It's the fourth time I presented this training session this week to various other organizations. That's really important because I want you to understand the reality here. In 2020, there was over $1 trillion in cybercrime. I think it was like 1.3 trillion with a T, okay? If you line that up to the GDP of the countries, that would be somewhere just north of Mexico. In total, how many times do you look around and see Amazon products, right? Raise your hand if you see it all the time, constantly, right? Okay, Amazon last year was somewhere around 500 billion in gross sales. So more than double, possibly even triple what Amazon's doing. Start to open your eyes about how serious this really is, okay? If this was a country, like I said, it has more gross national product than Mexico, okay? If a country did the things that these threat actors would do, they'd probably nuke them, okay? I mean, the amount of damage that's being done by threat actors is immense, okay? Now think about for yourself, in this week, how many links have you clicked on or how many attachments have you opened this week in your email? If you think about an organization that is sending out millions of emails every day, what are the chances that you're getting phished or sent threat-type emails? Very high. So please put your seats and trays to the full upright position. We're talking about some very serious stuff. How many fire alarms do you do in the year? How many? Can you tell me? How many? 10, okay. How many security trainings do you do a year? So far, just one. See a problem with that? I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm just wanting you to realize the severity of what's going on, okay? Now, the reason why you do 10 in a year is because when an event happens, you want to be prepared, right? It's very important that you guys are paying attention to that kind of stuff. You're getting constantly attacked, whether you know it or not. We need to prepare you, okay? If I send a very commonly guessed phishing email to one of you guys, and if you're not sure what phishing is, basically that's like, like you do phishing, but instead you're sending an email similar to that with a payload, a link, or something that you're trying to get that person to click on so they can get into your system. That's a phishing email. That's what they're doing. So if I send it to everybody in the company, that would be an example of a shotgun attack. I'm just hoping that I might catch you in a moment of weakness that somebody in your organization might click. And I'm also hoping you're not going to communicate with each other saying, hey, did you see that email that came in? So I'm just taking a shotgun and I'm just shooting it out there, hoping, and I might not do it to everybody. I might do it to a cluster of individuals, and I might change the content mildly, but I'm just going to take that shotgun attack, and I'm going to try to see if I can maybe get, based on odds, someone to click it. A targeted email is someone that's going to send it specifically at a user, and they've studied and reconned you to increase their odds that you're going to trust the email. If I talk about how I know your son or daughter in school, and I'm trying to get a job at where you're working, and I'm sending you a resume and would love you to check it out, what's the odds that you might click that attachment? A lot higher, right? I've stated information you believe to know true, so therefore, because I'm sharing truth in that message, I must be trustworthy. They've done lots of studies on this. I'm sure you preachers out there love to talk about that too, right? They're very good at what they do. So they want to build that trust in the message and then get you to click the link. One of the things they want to try to do is that last piece. What is it? What I have in there? What's the last one? Lateral. What does that mean? Okay. So in your organization, if I wanted to move laterally, what would that mean? Sideways. What would be an example of something I would want to hop to inside your organization? What are some things that I might want to try to get and move laterally inside your company? Financial information? Yep, that's a good one. What else? Databases? PII information, personal information like social security numbers, stuff that I could use for identity theft. If I can get a good chunk of that information, I can sell it on the black market like that. Make some good money real quick. Not a whole lot of effort. Kind of almost a snatch and grab. But a lot of these guys and girls that are really good at it, they operate in wolf packs, clusters of very highly organized and decentralized. They might not even be in the same country, but they work as a group. And they'll wolf pack hunt organizations doing big game or small game targeting of organizations and clusters of groups. Once they get in, they may get in and get a foothold and then sell it to somebody else to do the actual hard work. It's like almost marketing. Then they have organizations that have almost Netflix-type subscriptions with actual support. Last week, about 18 people were arrested on a global sting. Dark Matters is a very massive, almost Netflix organization. They have actual tech support. So what you do is you can use their services, and they offer all this suite of tools for them that are highly advanced to hack you. The only thing is they take a part of the cut. I mean, they are incredibly organized, and they train their people when they come on board. Probably better than you guys are training to stop them. Isn't that scary? What's at risk? Here's what they want to do. Here's a basic blueprint of what they're going to try to do moving laterally. Okay, first thing they're trying to do is they're going to try to get access. Once they get in, they're going to try to move to other mailboxes. Why would I want to move to another mailbox if I already have one? Anyone? What? More contacts. Great answer. Yes, there's more. Keep coming. What are some other ones? What are other reasons why you would want to do that? Okay, yep, that's another one. Yeah, that other person knows other people, right? So let's say that, Charlie, I get Charlie's information. Charlie has dealt with vendors, other people in the organization, right? Banks. Now, they can use his trusted information to then open other doors for them, not necessarily inside the company, or inside the church, or inside the school, okay? Maybe I get Elvin, right? Sorry, I'm using you. Let's say that I compromise Elvin's account, but Charlie's the target, right? So now they'll send an email from Elvin to try to get to Charlie. So they'll target maybe other people inside your organization with the end goal to move elsewhere inside your organization, because that's their end goal, because they know that's probably where the gold is. So they've already reconned your organization and how they're going to try to attack it. The school and the church are perfect examples. They love schools, because they know you're opening stuff. People are sending you crap all the time. You're just a perfect target. Not only are they trying to move laterally, they're also trying to move inside your organization. So servers, access to that information. So once you click on that link, then what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to scrape your network and do what's called elevation. They want to escalate privileges. They want to move up to an account that has full access to everything. When they do that, it's checkmate. Then they start hopping on other servers and other information, and they start encrypting it and exfilling it and moving it out. That's what you see there in step 4. Why would they want to move the stuff off-site? Why is it? If I moved your data off-site and you had a good backup, why does that matter? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to move your data off-site if you could still restore it? What leverage could I take with that? What's that? Yes, unlimited access. And what if I said, hey, I won't release it into the wild, extortion, if you pay. I know you've got a good backup, but there's some juicy data in here that you could get sued if I release that into the dark web. It happens daily, where organizations don't pay and they just release it. And so, all that personal information, I'm not sure what your name was that was asking about, now that compilation of that sensitive data just grew. Students' social security numbers, yeah, information like that is critical that they're trying to get access to, okay? And it doesn't have to be servers you have in the building. If I compromise, someone in the school's office and they have a ton of saved passwords in their web browser and I'm able to compromise that machine, I can scrape and grab all those cookies that are saved And if it's a password that's pretty common that I've cracked, I can then just hop right into that account as you and then have access to all of your student information. Do not save your passwords on PII websites. Bad idea. But it's hard for me to remember. You're smart. You can do it. You've got to do it. If not, password management software. We offer it for the low, low price of nothing. Yeah, we're in the process of offering that to you guys and allowing you to access basically all those complex passwords that you need to set up that we're just talking about on information that you know is very sensitive that you don't want to save as a saved password. Let us know. We can work with you in setting up password management so you can do that. There's safer ways to do it. This is part of the reason why we're talking about it. All right, surf-related websites. No social media or personal email unless your job requires it. Why, other than just being curmudgeoned and mean, why would we not want you to access that content while you're on a corporate device? Okay, why is that a risk? You're 100% right. Why is that a risk? Okay, do you feel that you trust Facebook's security measures? I think we all know the answer to that, right? But when you start accessing that content like G Suite, your Gmail account, hey, let me get my draft picks in and see what the latest trades are. Let me go in here and start accessing my email to see what we're talking about here. And oh, what's this link about this? And boop, gotcha. If I wanted to phish one of you guys, I probably would not target your work email, right? We're putting up all kinds of barriers to stop that from happening. If I know that you're going to work and there's a good chance you're probably checking your personal information while you're at work, I want to hit you where there's less defenses. Because basically you can, our anti-phishing, our identity management protection, spam guard, malware stuff, you're jumping the fence on all that if you're checking your personal email because none of that is being checked by us. So when you click the link on it and then at that point what you're hoping is our AV, our advanced malware protection, and our patching and third-party updates. Because when you click that link, they're going to basically shoot about 20 attacks at you within a half a second, trying various methodologies that they know over the course of the last year are going to work. About a 60% chance that they're going to get you when you click the link, even with all the patching and everything we're trying to do. And we're doing it right, but they still got a good shot of getting it. So, like I said, best AV in the chair. It's you guys, okay? So, reporting information, things that you see. So, we're going to start doing phishing campaigns with you guys. So, we're going to start sending you phishing emails, not because we're mean or anything like that. We're trying to build up for you to start seeing what those attacks might look like. And the second thing that we're going to try to help emphasize for you guys is to build a culture of reporting. Why is that important? Yes. So if you report the email of phishing, Iron Scales will literally pull it out of everyone's mailbox. So now you start to see why reporting the phishing attack is very important, and we're going to show you how to do that later in this presentation. Okay? So you guys are smart. As we start educating you about this, we're going to start increasing your knowledge of how phishing attacks are going to do, because we're going to be trying those attacks on you. And if we send 100 phishing emails to you, I want to see 100 reports, because that means everybody's paying attention. Because, your dog might got hit by a car, and, that day was just a country song, and it was just, your mind wasn't in it, and you got the email, and what? I'm back on this invoice, and I owe it? Oh, let me click that link. You're just not in the right frame of mind, and they got you at that moment of weakness, okay? But if they would have caught you on a good day, there's no way they would have got you. But maybe you got the email, and it was very obvious, and you reported it, and it'll yank it out of your mailbox, and we just dodged that whole problem altogether. Other things is just report. Don't join Wi-Fis that aren't secure. If I'm at a hotel, I never join the hotel's Wi-Fi. I always just use my personal hotspot. I just don't trust anybody's Wi-Fi. I don't know them. I'm just going to use my own Wi-Fi if I can help it. And never join a public Wi-Fi. And then don't tell your mobile devices or your laptops to auto-join any Wi-Fi. Like, if you blank your AT&T phone and you walk into there and I create an SSID for AT&T, your phone will just automatically join it. By default, AT&T phones will just join a Wi-Fi that's called AT&T. It just pops right in and says, here I am. And if I have a whole bunch of attacks then that are just going to throw it at your phone, then when you take your phone into the work organization, then they can use that to leverage to get inside the company. So one of the things that they suggest you do is if you have your mobile phone, don't join the corporate network with your phone. You have guest Wi-Fi that only has internet access. That's all you really care about from your phone for the most part. That's what you should join from your phone. Don't join the corporate Wi-Fi with your phone. It's just a bad idea. They're going for stats here, people. They're just rolling the dice, and they're hoping for Yahtzee. They only got to get it right once, okay? So they'll try 100 wrong, and if they get one right, could be 100 grand. I mean, how many people play the lottery with less odds? You know? And they're making a lot more money than people do off the lottery, let me tell you. And they're really good at it. So what they're going to do is they'll try to make the display name look similar to something you would expect. So before you assume that that email really came from me, look at the email address, more specifically the domain. One of the things that Iron Scales does a pretty good job of, and you should all periodically make sure that you have the Iron Scales icon, and we'll show you what that looks like a little bit later in the presentation. You should always have that on your email client. If you don't, let us know so that you can appropriately report a threat, okay? And the domain looks so darn similar that you may not notice it. They may add one letter. They might add a 1 versus an I, you know? And you might not pick up on it because the way that you're looking, your brain naturally wants to just assume and move forward with that, okay? So they're really good at trying to trick you. So pay attention to the domain name. So that's the first thing you want to check, the domain name. The second thing is the banner. We've added on there for you guys a banner that lets you know. If you guys don't have that banner working, let us know. That's something that we need to fix. But if an email comes from outside the organization, doesn't matter what address it is, it's going to have that banner on it. So if Elvin sends you an email, should his email have that banner? No, because he's inside the organization with you. It never left the company server. It just went from one mailbox to the next. So that banner should never exist on the email. So when you open the email and you see that banner across the top right here, and it says it came from Natalie, you're like, well, that's probably not true. That's another indication. You guys following me so far? Does that make sense? Anyone have any questions about that? Please, let me know. Plus, you get free stuff if you ask. Thumbs up? Okay, we'll keep going. All right, notice something that's interesting. What is that arrow pointing at? What's it indicating? The sinister nature of what they're trying to do here. What? Okay, what's so sinister about the icon? Yeah. Why are they doing that? Trying to trick me, right? What if you got an email with this banner that said it came from outside the organization, but I used Natalie's signature, her identical signature she always uses. And it has the same look and feel of the email she always sends. Maybe she has her background with cats on it, I don't know, with her emails. And it still has the background of the cats. You're like, well, obviously it's Natalie. Click. What you don't know is they've infected a machine that Natalie has sent an email to. They scrape that information off of hers, and then they send it right back looking almost identical to what Natalie would do. And you trust Natalie because you get emails from her all the time. So they're going to leverage that trickery on you to try to get back into your organization. So just because it has their signature, just because it has the background she has, don't trust it. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. Pay attention, okay? Here's one from Amazon. Maybe you just ordered some communion supplies, right? within, 30 minutes, you get this tracking information. You're like, man, that's service. They just caught it and sent it to you just at the right moment when your mind is expecting the response, right? But if you follow the process that we talk about, looking at it, looking at the banner, if you put your mouse, do not click, if you put your mouse over the link, remember I talked about how they do the display name? You can do that with websites. So I can make the website in the email that I send to you look like it's going to take you to Amazon, but if you mouse over it, it actually takes you to bobsbuilders.com. You're like, well, obviously that's not Amazon. But you have to put your mouse over it, and it'll say at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and tell you where it's going to actually take you when you go to the link. But do not click it. Now, what does that mean? If I go to check tracking on anything, I go to Amazon directly. I don't check the link. If I ordered a suit and they sent me a text message and said, your alteration's ready, never click it. I will call them and ask, is the suit ready? Well, we sent you a link. I don't care. Just want to check. Hey, your package is your front door. Let me go to the organization I ordered from, to the actual website, look at the order history, find the tracking information, and I'll follow a note. Could I do it faster by clicking the link? Sure. But I wouldn't. Just don't do that. That's why I try not to order things as guest accounts. Use a non-work related email when you sign up for anything that's not work related. Jen's going to talk about that a little bit later. Always make sure you're using corporate stuff for corporate stuff. One of the things that they'll hack is they will hack your Fitbit, and if you use your corporate account, they're going to try the password you used on your Fitbit to try to get in your company account. Don't go Lord of the Rings and have one password to rule them all. You just gave them a skeleton key to get into all your stuff. Okay? And don't use variations of that account. And if you're big Spaceball fans like I am, don't use luggage code. All right, here's an example of iron scales letting you know that someone's email address looks very similar to what you're communicating with. So there's this big banner that it throws up on top of you. We've now set it to automatically just move it into your junk. So if you have stuff going into your junk that shouldn't go there, let us know, and we can whitelist it for you as it's coming from those users. But, let us know that. But again, the address, look at the email address. Iron Scales is screaming at you here, and guess what? Here's the banner saying it's not coming from, the call's not coming from inside the house. Get out, that horror movie or whatever. Lots of movie references in case you're wondering. Just expect them, they're coming. Here's one that's pretty good. This one kind of stinks. It's not a very good representation, but I've seen them where they will use G Suite or 365, and they will literally scrape their whole website and match it identically. And then sometimes that they will do is I've seen them where they've called up and said, hey, we're seeing suspicious activity, right? And then you get an email that shows up and says, reset your password. And they're like, okay, you click the link and, Microsoft's not going to call you. You're not going to get a password reset unless we tell you, unless Cody calls you and tells it's coming, okay? If you have any questions or concerns, just call us. If you're not sure, no one's going to make fun of you. I'm serious. There's no judgment here. We take this very serious. So just let us know. After you hang up the phone, we're not going to be like, guys, guess what? This is great, And that's not happening. We're like, whew, thank God they reached out to us about that. Man, that could have been devastating, So, and what they'll do is they'll have the reset password. Look, another thing that you've seen happen, which is even more sinister, is they'll have the link for you to reset your password, and this is just really advanced stuff. They'll have a man-in-the-middle attack. They'll have the website look identical to G Suite, and when you put the information in, it immediately through front end, back end pushes the password stuff to actual G Suite's website, and when you go to do your authenticator, it'll tickle the authenticator, so it'll go to your phone, and then you log in. But then they grab that access token, and they log in as your account. They'll set up a reverse forward. They'll set up write access for them to get access to your mailbox. So everything will respond just like it's doing in your email that you have your reset. Because they put that website in the middle, they're able to just forward that information on, so all of it just fires off like it normally would. Now, higher end access companies are picking up on that. Facebook, LinkedIn, Microsoft, G Suite, they're shutting down those options. They're looking for those types of things, and they're really good at stopping that now. But early this year, boy, they were popping people left and right with that. They were really good at it. Okay, here's one. This is the unpaid invoice thing that hit a lot of people late last year, early this year. And what happens is nothing's going to show up as a phishing email because they literally use someone's mailbox that you already know. So what happens is if they hit Charlie's account with this, then they're going to send overdue invoices to everybody from Charlie. So it's not going to be an email coming from a place that you don't know because they're using the mailbox they've already compromised to spew it out from. So you're going to dodge some of those attempts to stop. Smart play. So that's where you got to pay attention. I don't open an attachment unless I talk to you on the phone and I expect you to send it to me. One of my guys said, man, this is great. I attended this Black Hills security webinar, and he just sent the attachment to me and said, hey, check it out. I immediately Teams and texted him and said, hey, did you send this to me? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, that's bad protocol. Like, I correct him, like, don't do that. Like, not only do I want to verify, but also add context. Make sure that you just don't send this as a funny link. Check it out. That's a bad thing. Don't do that. Always send context and make sure you attach it to a conversation. Start adding validity to the information in the emails you go. Don't get in the habit of just blindly trusting and clicking from an account that you trust. Like, just don't trust anybody. So I never click a link or send an email to anyone that I haven't expected to receive it. Make sense, everybody? Two thumbs up with that one. That's a huge, oh my gosh, if you guys just follow that, whoo, you're like, man, if you could have just told us that, you could have ended this webinar in like 10 seconds. There's a lot more to it. But shared links. This is one supposed to it's trying to look like Microsoft's OneDrive share, right? So pay attention to that. Make sure that look at the content here, see this address isn't what you expect. This is a fake email address that they're sending to. No one's going to send you to it like this as a PDF. It's not going to look like that, so just pay attention. If you're not sure, just let us know. How many of you guys get emails or get your voicemails to your email? Okay? Super dangerous. It's convenient, but it's dangerous in that you need to pay attention. Don't immediately just trust. Make sure you know that it's always the exact same from email address. And, be very cautious about the type of email format that it comes in. So the formatting of the nomenclature of how that voicemail comes in is always going to be the same, okay? So they'll almost never get that right. It'll be like the month and date will be swapped, or the timestamp will be different than how you're used to seeing. It might look like it, but the format of the type of file that it's sending will be different. Pay attention to that. They're going to try that. I personally don't like opening them. I know it's convenient. I just check it on my phone, or I just don't. That's a way that they're going to try to catch you. As you can see here, this is just an example of them trying it, And if they see how your format is and they replicate it, they can make it look pretty darn close when they send it. So just be on guard. Any questions about that? That might have zinged a few of you. Okay. All right, how to report. You should have the Iron Scales logo. See, it's right here. If you don't have that in your email or web client, let us know. Here's an example. You just highlight the email, and then you click on the report, and it will drop down this session, and you can just pick and say, hey, this is suspicious. This is a phishing email. I don't know this sender. There's different options you can pick. And then it reports it. And if the AI senses that it really is valid, or it thinks it's sort of shady, but after you report it, it's like, okay, now I know it is, it'll yank it out of everybody's mailbox. So help us all out and report. Okay? If you're not sure, just report it, and we'll deal with the collateral later. Trust me, it's the better option. I've seen the fallout of the other. It's not fun. Here's what it looks like in the website. Like if you're using webmail for it, what you would do is you drop it down, and it's the 3 dots in the right. I'm just kind of doing this in the air. I'm not sure if that helps anybody, but it's right here. You hit those 3 dots, and then it shows up right here. Report is phishing right there. Any questions about that? Okay. You can do it on your phone if you use the Outlook app. If you're using iMail or the mail client or your Android email client to check your email, this will not be there. Another reason why we highly suggest you use the Outlook client. Also, the nice thing about the Outlook client is you have other things like rules and things to help you with your junk filtering and spam redirection and other stuff, which is much superior than just using the email client. Now, you might go, I'm more familiar with it. I get it. You're just not going to be able to report. Sorry, it's physics. Don't have control over that. But what you do is if you have the email open, you hit the three dots. This will pop up here. Not the three dots up here because that would make a whole lot of sense, sadly. No. It's you click this one here, and then right at the top, report phishing. Any questions about that? If you need any assistance getting set up for the Outlook client, it doesn't charge, doesn't cost you anything. We can help you do that. If you want to run them in parallel to see which one you like better, doesn't blow anything up, doesn't hurt anything, you can do that as well. But then you have the report option inside there. If you're missing that icon at all, let us know. The Center for Internet Securities, it's a standard that we are now adopting. We've started that journey last year and have been focusing on that internally for us this year, and now we're turning to our clients and starting to help them embrace this model. This is not an agency like HIPAA or GLB or some acronym that sounds awesome, but CIS is a nonprofit organization that's their focus is helping organizations like yourselves increase their security posture, not their compliance. There's a difference. Okay, so we're focusing on trying to increase the security posture of your organization by doing things like iron scales. This training is an example of that. We're hardening the workstations to do things that they know they're going to try to scrape data. We're going to try to make it harder on them to do those types of things so that if you do happen to get tricked, we want to limit the possible damage.